Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Brett. Once again, it's producer Matthew. And not with us again.
Matthew?
It's Chris.
And goodbye, Chris.
I feel as though we keep giving him a bad rap in terms of him not being here.
You know,
so you want to know what he has to do about that? Show up?
It's true. He's got a valid-ish excuse. Like, I'm starting to think that we're a couple months in here now. Like, you got to show up.
Yeah.
You know?
At least one time.
Show your face. Yeah, even if it's a main episode and one producer special, and then you have to take the next
even if it's virtually, in person.
Just show up.
Like through a phone call.
See you. People want to see it. People are on the gram. They're talking about, where's Chris? Let's get Chris. We like Chris.
Because he'd see that from the gram.
That's the point, is he can't see it.
I feel like we should maybe give him a fax or something. Maybe he'd get that.
He might get that. Just show your face, once in a blue moon here. I don't want to go half a season. We talked about this offline. We might have to start looking at, some guest co-hosts. Mm-hmm. They do it for talk shows all the time. We could do the same thing.
Yeah. We will be the next talk. What can we say? We're the next View.
The View.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's true.
But speaking of talking, we should do that for this podcast.
We should, shouldn't we?
Are we talking about? I guess first, before we get right into the main producer special here, there was some news a couple weeks ago about another brewery closing. So we're going to just touch base on it. Rhythm and Brews,
yes,
sadly are going to be closing for good.
Mm-hmm. We did have them on last season. We have their hazy IPA, and I can't remember actually the other one off the top of my head, but we had. But we had two of their beers. Can't confirm. Hey, I went and picked them up, and Adam was a good guy, and I feel bad for him, and hopefully he can land on his feet somewhere else for sure. But
True,
they did have tried to venture themselves into a concert venue and everything like that, and it seems like things just didn't work out. So sad to see.
Not closing because we did have one of the beers explode on the episode. That's not the reason why.
No, that would be a very bad reason for it to close, just because you had one beer explode.
But yeah, season 3, episode 19. So it wasn't too long ago that we had them on, and we're very, very fortunate to have them on.
Yes, exactly.
And yeah, hopefully something. One door closes and another one opens. So hopefully we can see them still in the brewing industry and get some different beers.
Exactly. But
we're not talking about that.
No, we're not. So
we're talking about beers.
We are talking about beers. So we did get some beers for today.
I'm going to start drinking my beer.
Yes, and we'll kind of get into what it is in a second, because we each have different ones. Mm-hmm. On today's episode. It'd be one of those things, if we were more so in person, might have had a bit of a flight of them, but it is what it is, right?
Nope, I'm going to enjoy mine by myself.
Yes, you should. So a big shout out to my brother.
What?
Right? The craft beer connoisseur himself.
So we talked about your brother. We've talked about your brother actually early in season 1. Because we were talking about some of the fans of the podcast, and you mentioned your brother, and you said, he's not much of a beer drinker at all, but he does listen to the episodes, yada, yada, yada. But we have to thank your brother for something else here then.
Yes, so he actually got us the beers that we're having on today's episode. And where do you think these come from?
Your brother.
Well, that's true. You're right. But one of the highest rated breweries in the United States.
Of the whole USA?
Oh, the whole USA.
America?
Exactly. You look at their check-ins on Untappd. I think it's over 5 million check-ins. And it's an average rating of 4.35 or something like that. It's crazy.
Disgustingly good.
Disgustingly good indeed.
7 million.
7 million. There you go. That's more than what I said.
Yep.
Right? And what's the average rating on that?
Well, for the brewery itself?
Just brewery itself, yeah.
4.33 is the average.
Yeah. So they make some good stuff.
Higher than my normal. But
right?
About on par for your average, Brett.
Yes. Yes. That's it. Mine's 3.68, but thank you. Anyway, so my brother notified me last month that with his girlfriend, they were taking a trip to Boston. Boston. Right? So I obviously texted back and said, so what do you think about this? And the thinking about this was...
What is this?
Maybe making a stop for me at Tree House.
Tree House Brewing Company.
Right? So he said, yes, I'd be happy to oblige. So I kind of gave him a list of, the beers that I thought would have been good for the boys.
Yeah.
And he delivered.
He did deliver.
Right? So we each have a different one. Chris did get one as well that he will enjoy some other time. He had the Moment of Clarity.
Okay.
And I'm assuming eventually have a moment of clarity and come back to the podcast. But
one would hope.
One would hope, right? But with this one, we all have different beers. I think we'll all kind of go through them, kind of check our ratings out, and then we're going to drink them. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And so
I think that's a great idea.
I think so, too. So my brother did go to the Tree House Brewery, which is in Charlton, Massachusetts. They do have additional locations in Tewksbury, Sandwich, Deerfield, Woodstock. God, that'd be great if it was Ontario. And dry goods. So my brother was down there kind of exploring. He did a tour of Fenway, did I think the Basketball Hall of Fame, the public library. Apparently it's like the biggest library, the most, good library in the States.
Now, is your brother the only individual to go to a library in the family? Is like was this monumental?
No. So what I'm saying is that having fun isn't hard when you have a library card.
Okay.
Right?
That's good.
And I say, hey, it's a wonderful day. Anyway,
your wife just posted something about that on Instagram a little while back too.
She posted something on Instagram. Good for her.
I think it was on her story or something about that very song.
Oh yeah, there's big Arthur fans in the house. I'm trying to get my
daughter. Good aardvark. Eh?
I'm trying to get my daughter introduced to it. Like when I came home every day after school when I was young, I'd watch Arthur at 4:00 on TVO.
Absolutely.
You just got to get back into that, right?
Straight banger.
Way better than frickin' Blippy. Anyway.
I love that. Now, a coworker of mine actually went to Boston.
Yes.
And they still have their job, even though they did not stop at Treehouse and did not bring back beers. So shout out to that coworker for nearly getting fired.
I also do know the coworker, and I understand the reasoning. She's a little busy.
No excuses. That's what I always say. I say no excuses.
That's true.
If we mattered enough, we would have more beers in our hands. But apparently, it was all about them. So it's okay.
And you know what? I mean, I believe it kind of was all about them when it came to that said event. But anyway, we should probably get on to what beer we're drinking here.
Okay.
Right? So we all have a different beer. Tyler, would you like to go first in terms of the beer that was provided for you?
I would love to go first. So the beer that I'm currently drinking, so we're not opening them up. I opened mine up earlier, and I am consuming it currently. Is called Very Green. So this beer is, and you might see this kind of I guess with the producers as well, is they've created the green. And now this is the Very Green. So this is a Imperial Double IPA. So the green version is a little bit less on the alcohol. This is a little bit more ramped up. It's 8.3% ABV. Do you want me to go into some of the stats? I'll follow the stats.
Please do.
And then,
yeah.
Okay. So there is an overall rating of 4.57 with 67.6 thousand check-ins. Oh, I hear you getting into yours, which is nice.
Yes, I did a lot of talking earlier, so now I'm just going to actually start pouring mine.
Very good. And there's 13,146 5 out of 5s on this. So it's got a little bit lower rating than I think some that I'm seeing here, but a lot more 5s with it. So the most popular way of having it is obviously by the can, then by the draft, and very consistent throughout. Growler actually has the highest at 4.75, 22 growler rating. So somebody went in there and said, I want to get absolutely gibbled, and started slamming that down and gave it a 4.75.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are in terms of bringing growlers back across the border. So if I would have, producer Matthew, big fan of the growler, so I should have maybe helped with that.
If you could have kept it cold, baby, game changer.
I did get a glass, though. My brother did give me a glass free of charge. I did pay for the beers.
Nice.
But
I mean, when you buy 20 beers, you get a free glass. Sure, why not?
I think it's a great deal. He also did get me a couple free beers from Lord Hobo as well. And in return...
okay.
Yes, and in return...
Did you take any library books and bring those back for you?
No.
Your ABCs?
No. No.
Next year.
But in return, he did get a couple of free podcast beers that we created with job sites. So I think that was a fair trade.
I'm going to read out the information, the details on this beer, if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Perfect. So this double IPA is created with a massive kettle charge of Australian and American hops. It opens in the glass with the huge notes of ripe pineapple, pithy citrus, and dank saturated hops. As it warms, it shows its depth and complexity. Sweet hints of malt intermingle with stray Tropicana. It has a soft but pointed bitterness and a rich, velvety mouthfeel. I'll save my actual information on this one. Matthew, don't worry about writing it down. I'll read it off. It's all good. I got you. Matthew's trying to get ahead of the game and write the same kind of description. So I'll read off. I'll read off Chris's if you want to read off the producers and yours.
Yep, that's fine.
Brett, do you want to find that information?
Go ahead. I can do that.
I can go ahead and give what Chris has. If that's, you want me to do Chris first? Then
Yes.
you can get yours in. Give you a second to kind of get things organized. So to comment actually just on this beer, that's what I'm kind of getting right now. And maybe as we drink through it, I can describe some of that a little bit more. So make sure you're drinking yours, Brent. And
I'll drink it. Don't worry about that.
And Matthew, so that way you can comment on some of the flavors after. But so Chris was given the Moment of Clarity, which is a stout, 4.46 out of 5. So again, we're seeing high numbers here. With 22,000.8 check-ins, so 22.8K with the check-ins. It is a 7.7% 0 IBU, and the 5 out of 5s is 2,614. So a nice milk stout. We won't know how Chris feels about it, but I'm sure he's going to like this one. It reads as follows. Moment of Clarity is an American milk stout carefully brewed and conditioned with coffee, chocolate, and dark amber maple syrup. It pours beautifully in the glass with a rich mousse-like head and dense complexion. It exhibits strong maple and chocolate aromas on the nose and recalls chocolate-covered maple cream candies in the flavor. Though dense and flavor-filled, it still maintains a certain fullness. It still maintains a certain fluffiness that makes it easy and pleasant to drink, a big glass of. It is a wonderful and decadent treat that for us evokes our earning for relaxed Sunday mornings by the fire with a pile of chocolate chip waffles. I regret being a good guy on this one.
And reading the whole thing?
Because Brett, no, you gave the three of them to myself to make sure I doled it out, one for the producer, one for myself, and one for Chris. And I didn't go through the style guide. I didn't really look at it. I said, okay, it's a stout. Well, I'll give that away. Having read that, I think I should have indulged in it. It sounds absolutely beautiful. Not to say mine doesn't, but that sounds like a darn good stout.
Well, you know what? Good news is I bought in 4-packs. So,
of course you did.
So maybe if you pop over one day, we can figure it out.
Okay, but it sounds delicious, eh? Like,
right? It definitely does.
It sounds like a good beer.
Do you want to know? Also, sounds delicious.
What's that?
You're gonna have your beer, obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink my beer, but you tell me what sounds delicious.
I was gonna say the producer's beer, which is called Very Hazy. So it is a double IPA, 8.6%, 80 IBUs. And 47,000 people have checked it in. And they've rated it a 4.6.
Yep.
Okay. So this one is a kicked up version of their haze, our double IPA. Very Hazy is a beer that makes us very happy. Very Hazy conveys all the beautiful flavors of haze, but with an even greater depth and potency. Pungent grapefruit notes greet your palate with an underlying current of soft tropical fruit dances in the background. Just the right amount of bitterness balances the sweet fruit flavors, while a velvety soft mouthfeel makes you feel easily and dangerously. Forget this one clocks in at 8.6%. A huge and beautiful beer that maintains softness and delicacy.
Wow.
All right.
Not bad.
Right. I think he might have lucked out in terms of what he got.
I don't think there's a miss here. You know what I mean? Like,
No, there's not.
It is really too bad that we didn't save these 4 a flight. I feel like we should have flighted this up. That's okay.
But you know what? It is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
For myself, I got the King Julius. Okay.
Is that how it's typed out the same?
Well, there's 3 J's, 3 S's.
All right.
King is spelled normal. Anyway, this one comes in 8.4% ABV with 0 IBUs. So this is actually their 4th anniversary. So just think of this. They've only been around for 4 years. Or this is their 4th anniversary beer, I should say, that they've been making for a while. But it's a very good beer. I've had it previously, and I had to have it again here. So 34.5 people have checked this in with an average rating of 4.71.
Right.
Okay. So we brewed this an extra kettle hop with an extra dry hop version of King Julius, which is one of their staples. The result is incredibly intense citrus hop blast unlike anything we've experienced here at Tree House. Mango, orange, and sweet grapefruit are predominant in the aroma, with hints of pineapple and a blended tropical fruit juice. The taste mirrors the aroma with a juicy mouthfeel and a proper bitterness. Fluffy. This beer challenges the sense and rewards the palate as it warms in the glass. Complex, raw, and beautiful. The Amplified King is a beer we are excited to share with you to celebrate 4 years of Tree House. Thank you. That is all.
That's your TED Talk.
Great TED Talk.
So yeah, are you getting some of those flavors out of it?
I'm getting all of it.
You're getting all of it. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job with this, right? Like it's a hit.
And it's one of those things in terms of the beers that you have in your hands currently. I actually have not had those two. They're in my fridge currently that I will have soon enough. I haven't had Chris's either in terms of the stout. Kind of saving those maybe for a rainy day.
Sure,
but as soon as I knew that was happening, I was like, we have to, I have to get some Treehouse stuff. I just have to, right?
You know what the tough part about this is, Brett? And I hate to bring it up, and Matthew's he's gonna start laughing, and I really do hate to bring it up. But if I look at the Pfeiffer family, okay, and I start ranking which Pfeiffer I like the most.
I'm 3. It's okay.
I don't know if your sister holds the number 1 spot anymore, or your brother because of the beers. Now, if your sister wants to go ahead and buy us beers, she can reclaim the number 1 spot. I'm okay with that. But your brother has come through with an absolute banger. And when you said 3, I'm thinking Donnie takes 3. So
fair,
might get relegated to the 4.
Yeah.
It's not you.
Hey, you know me. Bad clean up. It's okay.
Listen, the competition's stiff in that family right now.
Right now, yes.
Almost as stiff as that knee.
You're not wrong.
You're talking about. But
You're not
absolute wrong. Banger. This is. I really do appreciate your brother and you coming up with the idea to suggest it to him. We've had some really good beers. This is a really, really good beer. And again, it's nice to see because we see breweries out there that have like these really good one-offs from time to time, or they do one beer really good every year. And it's just a different style of it or a different iteration. Trios is coming out with bangers every single time.
Yes.
Like it's different styles. Right?
It's one of those things. My brother was smart enough to go on a Monday at noon.
Yep.
But there's been times where you have to wait in line 3 hours just to get into the tap room.
Really?
Yes. Like it's that insane.
He got in there okay? Like
yeah,
it was
Monday at noon. Way better than a Friday at 5.
Sure.
But
sure.
It's one of those things where you have to buy like tokens in order to get things in the tap room.
Okay.
Like it's crazy.
Yep.
There's lineups at the wazoo. Obviously you can buy in 4-packs and kind of order online ahead of time and whatnot. But yeah, to just be able to get into the tap room, and Charlton, the one where he picked it up is their main location. That was their very first location.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, think of Cowbell, but on a very larger scale.
It's incredible.
And I will send some pictures through here to we maybe throw on our Instagram in terms of the actual size of the brewery. But it is massive, and they've pumped out. I don't even know how many beers they've pumped out on Untappd, but a few. I can get up here for a second here. Oh my goodness, my phone is just not working well. Let's see.
Fair enough.
1,019 beers.
It's insane.
Right? With a 4.33 average rating. Like, come on.
Yep.
So
Producer Matthew said, should we give our ratings on this? I think not. I think what we can do, and we've done this before. I mean, we do with one of the last producer specials too. What we do is we actually should post it not only on our personal, but we should post it on our Craft Beer Connoisseurs Untapped as well. So you can follow us on our personal if you like, at T61 or at Crafty Chris 13 or 5.
B5 or 14, yeah.
There you go. So you can follow us on that, or I think what we do is we post ours, and we'll post the Producer Matthews as well, of our individual pictures and our individual ratings of those beers. So we'll post all 4 of them on there, so that way you can see what we rated our beers from Tree House.
Right.
Cool.
I think so. I think it's one of those things where maybe next time, instead of asking people to pick up, we just go ourselves, right? I think that would be, it's one of those things, I think that would be like a day. Like, we're spending a full day there to get through all their beers and hopefully have...
Do they have a hotel nearby? I think we got to look into that.
You know what? I will do some market research on that for you. I think it's one of those things. This is a thing where you get there at 11 and we just stay the full day.
Yeah.
Unless they have a time limit, which they might.
But
we'll
go on Monday. I hear
Monday at noon apparently is a really good time.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're there, you don't want to not have every beer.
Well, that's going to be a real challenge because I'm pretty sure they had about 80 beers on tap. So
you know
what?
I
think we'll be.
You just get all the flights and you split the flights. You don't have to have the full taster. We could do half tasters and then just split them all up.
This is where I say I'm pretty sure they don't have flights. Pretty sure you're getting 8 ounces the whole time.
Well, here's the thing: is if we get 4 or 5 of us, whatever it looks like, we can get just cans, and then we'll split them ourselves. We'll bring our own red solos.
Like Beer Town paddles.
Yeah,
where they just put everything on a paddle.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? Mint. I think we can figure it out. If there's anybody that can figure it out, it's the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.
Indeed.
All right. Let's sign her off.
I think so.
This was a good episode.
Right?
And again, thanks to your brother.
Yeah.
Really do
a big shout out to Mark. That's his name, by the way. Big thank you to him for picking up the beers, and his girlfriend Kim as well, for probably driving there to pick them up, because it's a package deal.
Mark and Kim.
Exactly.
Sounds beautiful.
Exactly.
That's going to be it for today's Producer Special. Thanks again for listening. Keep on listening. Every other Thursday, Craft Beer Connoisseurs releases a new episode, and on our off Thursdays for these unique Producer Specials.
Remember, drink responsibly and don't drink and drive.
So from all of us, Chris included, even though he's not here, and Producer Matthew, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Brett.
And together, all of us, the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.